Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast. I am Diana, and today we are talking Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4, King County. Welcome to my live stream. If you are new here, Screens in Focus offers our own unique perspective on TV and movies. And I also share with you the latest and greatest that is out there. So, welcome. I appreciate that you're here. I am solo today. Normally, I have a guest with me in other TV and movie podcast episodes, but for Fear the Walking Dead, I am doing this solo and I am doing this on a live stream. So I'm just trying something new to connect with all of you in the Walking Dead universe. So thank you so much for being here because I love this whole universe. I love sharing what I see with you each week. So I can't wait to dig in this particular episode because it is one of my favorite episodes that I have seen of Fear the Walking Dead. Okay, so we're going to get to that in just a moment. I do want to remind you, you can get to Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com. There you can get to my podcast episodes, you can get to my social media, and you can get to my blog, which has other TV and movie recommendations, because there is a wide variety of TV and movies that we cover, and I love all genres. So check that out, screensinfocus.com. Okay, let's get back to this episode. Man, so I was I was really liking this episode a lot. So it got me to thinking of the question of the day as to what is your favorite episode of Fear the Walking Dead? And there are so many out there. I know season 2 had a lot of special episodes in that um in that season. I know one that stuck out to me was in season 2, and it was episode 14, and it was entitled Wrath, and that was with Travis when he found out about his son, Chris. Whoa, that was a crazy intense episode, and so I really enjoyed that episode. I also enjoy the episodes that highlight John Dory because he is one of my favorite characters on Fear the Walking Dead. There are so many. So I would love to know what yours is because we had Nick, we had Alicia, Madison, June, Luciana, Daniel. Oh, there's that episode 100 with Daniel. So there's so many. I would love to know what your favorite episode of Fear the Walking Dead is. So you can put it in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or on any of our social media links. Again, you can get there to screensinfocus.com. All right, because I would love to know what your favorite episode of Fear the Walking Dead is. Okay, so let's dig into this one, King County. Okay, I was really looking forward to this episode and I was not disappointed. I really wanted to revisit King County. So I was really happy when we saw Morgan. It just cut to the chase. Morgan was there. And he walks up to the steps of his old home. And of course, we see it overgrown. Time has passed. And he puts his foot up on that step. And when he did that, I was there with Morgan. I felt the weight of that moment with him. I think I felt the weight of the moment because I have a childhood home and I know what that home represents to me. I know all the memories that I have, my parents, my siblings, my friends, things that I learned as I lived on that house down the street, growing up, meeting my husband, having my children, their childhood there. Oh my gosh, a house contains so many memories and can mean so much and hold so much. So, and I felt that all of that was going through my head, how my house impacted me when he stepped on that house or on that step to go up to that doorway. So I think because it started off in that manner and that was my experience, I think that's why I really connected with this episode. Plus, it was from The Walking Dead season 1, episode 1, and related to Rick and Morgan's beginning. So I also think that was another reason that I was so impacted, and I'm so sure so many of you were impacted in the same way. So he arrives at the house, and he can't seem to open the door, and he hears his son's voice in his head, and he goes running out, or he goes running down the street, and he had passed by some walkers eating a skunk, and of course, he gets his weapon and starts stabbing him, and did you see him? That first jump, he, like, hopped and jumped down on it. I was totally impressed with Lenny James. I'm thinking, "Wow, that is impressive. You are keeping up with your skills." I loved it. I He's not a young guy. He's not old, but he's not a young guy either, so I was impressed with, um, the training he must have done to be able to do that scene, both emotionally and physically. And so then, of course, he kills all those walkers that are there and gets that skunk smell on him. And then, of course, he has the surprise discovery of seeing Grace and Mo there. And so he meets up with them. And I that was an emotional reunion for them. I think there was some bonding between all of them and some apologies, and, I thought that that was a really good moment for them to reconnect. And, of course, we learn more about Mo, and she tells them about Daniel being one of the people to help her get out. Madison's friend Daniel, they're like, "Daniel? What do you mean, Daniel?" "Oh, yeah, he's still alive." So they learn that, they learn about his mission, and they're thinking, "Oh, great, another ally. We can all work together." So that will be their goal. But right now, Morgan has his own goal, his own goal of putting Dwayne to rest. So um, we also, sorry, I'm thinking of, there's so much to cover here. I'm thinking about those as they move around and to the house, and Morgan shares with Grace and Mo about what happened in the house and why he is there. And he takes them to, I'm getting ahead of myself because I do want to say that Sherry and Dwight arrive on the scene. And we learn that they are aligned with Padre for now because under duress, that's not what they want to do, but it's what they need to do because they have their son, Finch, to take care of and to um, be concerned about. And at first, I didn't like that part. I thought, what? What do you mean you guys are on two opposite sides here? On my second watch, I came to understand that because Dwight, Dwight even says to Morgan, "Well, 7 years ago, you gave us up to save your daughter, so now we're trying to save our son." So I'm like, "Okay, I guess that makes sense, that makes sense. I get it, I get it, I get it, but I don't like it. I don't like it." So of course, that added to the dynamic of the whole episode, right? Seeing them on two different sides, both trying to save, protect their family. And so family was highlighted in this episode, that there are tensions and actions that they each take to, further each of their own agenda. And, we see that Dwight and Sherry, have to work with these other Padre people because, of course, Shrike is radioing them to say, "Oh, have you found him?" And Shrike believes that Morgan is out to form an army, get some guns, rally up some people. And so that is why she has sent Padre and Dwight and Sherry to find him and to retrieve him. But that's not what he's there for. He's there to face redemption and this guilt that he has for not putting Dwayne to rest. And that's his goal because he cannot move forward. He cannot move on with his new family, with Mo and with Grace until he does this. So, there's this mission that he needs to accomplish and this emotional weight to it. And there's just a struggle. It's just a big struggle for him to do this. I can't even imagine what that would be like. I tried to put myself in that position too. I have sons. If something like this ever happened, I would be in the same boat as Morgan. I don't know that I could do it. I really don't know that I could. It would be a hard situation to be in. Um, I may be jumping the gun, but I'm thinking that it would take someone like Mo to do it for, which ends up being the perfect, scenario for him. But I did wanna bring up, um, that, Morgan has this struggle and this guilt that he feels, and we've seen Morgan's from the very beginning, and we've seen his journey through The Walking Dead and now Fear the Walking Dead, and we've seen, um, the exploration of his past and him writing clear, the writings on the wall, and what that means, and he explains that to Mo, what that means. It means killing everybody, killing everything. But what's interesting, and I wanna share with you, is that we have been watching The Walking Dead, marathoning it ourselves. Just taking it kinda slow, watching a few episodes, my husband and I, when we can. Well, on Saturday night, isn't it just fitting? We didn't plan this, it just happened. We happened to be on the episode where Morgan meets Eastman. So he had just been on a killing spree. He meets Eastman, and then he realizes that all life is precious and he stops killing. So I thought it was such a perfect episode to watch right before we watched Sunday night this episode on Fear the Walking Dead, because we were able to see um, part of his journey again. We were reminded of what he's been through. Again, I think that was why this episode was so emotional for me and for everybody else. So I thought that was just perfect timing that we were able to see that episode. Also, this whole apocalyptic journey really changes you, um, shifts you. You become either resilient or you kind of give up and do things maybe you wouldn't want to do in it. You make decisions. There's so many things that happen when you're faced with something so huge and catastrophic. But I also want to say that you, as a young person like Mo, you learn so much and you become so much more aware and become so much more insightful. So I just thought it was interesting that we also see Mo in this episode and how much she has grown and learns and how much she is able to push Morgan in the right direction and to tell him things that she sees and understands. And I think at the beginning he tells her something, man, you're wise beyond your years. And she is. An apocalypse will do that to you. It has to do that, right? Because you can't be a regular child against other people or walkers and other people. Anyway, I just think that we saw the importance of family and rediscovery in this episode and a sense of belonging. And we see that with Mo. And we see that as she looks through that picture book of Morgan and his family. And she asks him about it. And she asks him about the skunk smell and how he knew that that tomato soup would get mask that smell. And I love that part of it. I love what he shared with her in the story about Dwayne and his dog. I don't know, there was something just very sweet about that moment. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there is a moment where she asks him, "Do you think that we will ever be there again? Do you think it'll ever be like that again?" And I thought, "You're an apocalypse. How are you ever gonna get there again?" But I appreciated Morgan's response to that? He was very hopeful. And he said, "Yeah, maybe we can make it better." Let's hope so, Morgan. I love that train of thought. Okay. So we also saw parallels between Padre and Sanctuary because Dwight and Sherry bring that up because they are tired of being controlled. They were controlled at the Sanctuary. They're controlled by Padre. They just want their son. They just want to be together. I just want that for them. It's crazy living in this world where people are always controlling how you're going to live your life. So I can understand, though, that they want to protect their kid. And right now, it's just moment by moment. How do we protect our child today? Let's get through this and figure out the next day. But I love that Dwight tells Sherry, "Do you really want our son to know that we protected him by hurting, harming, killing someone else? I don't think so." And I thought that was a great line. And I love that Dwight said it. And I love that he credits Finch, his son, for wanting that same thing. So I thought that was really cool. So I really liked that. Okay, there was a lot of symbolism in this episode. Again, we saw the skunk and the smell. And, that skunk was being eaten by zombies and the smell that Morgan had on him. And I felt like it carried the symbolism of decay and destruction. And that is caused by this zombie apocalypse. And it represents the harsh realities of the world that they live in. And we also see, of course, Morgan struggle to kill Dwayne. And that, to kill these walkers representing his son symbolizes this unresolved guilt that he has and the trauma for not being able to do so. And because he can't move on, he can't take care of his family now. And the only way he can take care of his family now is to deal with his past, which is what he is trying to do because he needs that sense of purpose and he needs that closure. Okay. A really big highlight for me was that Rick Grimes rifle. That rifle given to Morgan by Rick Grimes just holds this symbolic significance, and it represents a connection between the Walking Dead series and Fear the Walking Dead series and this legacy. And it just symbolizes this trust and this guidance and this shared experience between these characters and this show. I loved it. It was it was just the coolest thing. I loved hearing Rick Grimes' name, felt like he was a rock star. It's like, "Said Rick Grimes, that is so cool." Um, it's just such a throwback to the Walking Dead series. So I just think that so many of these things really showed, we saw all these themes play out through this whole episode. I also want to talk at the very end about Grace and how she tells Morgan that the radiation is back and that she is dying and that she feels it and how much time has been wasted. And throughout this, her and Morgan have kind of been at odds because she wants him to pay attention to now and that this is his second chance and that we're here in front of you. And I understand that. I understand what she's saying, but I really understand where Morgan's coming from. This is 12 years at least, right? 12 years that he has been living with this and he has to get it done. It's just something in him that has to be done. I get it. I thought Lenny James was so good as Morgan. I think this was his best performance. I'm such a fan. I just hope he gets the recognition he deserves for this episode because he was just so good. I do want to say toward the end when Morgan and Grace are talking about the future because now they saved Mo, and we did see the moment where Morgan had to finally kill Dwayne and to save Mo, to save her, and realize where he had put Dwayne in the attic because he was in such a blur during all of this. But saving Mo was so such an emotional moment for everybody. And for Mo saying, Dad, help me. You can do this. I know you can help me. I know you can do it. And, every time he pointed that gun previous to going in that house, he kept seeing Jenny, all over the place. That's all he could see. And he just kept having such a struggle. But finally, he was able to do it because he knew if he didn't, he wouldn't save his daughter, Mo. But it was so hard. And I struggled with him. And I was very teary eyed during this whole episode. Um, I just thought it was just really so well done. But fast forward to the end with Mo looking through that picture book through all the rubble, and she picks it up, and we see Grace and Morgan talking. And then that walker pops out of the rubble, grabs Mo, and she starts screaming. I screamed bloody murder. It was so funny. I scared everybody in the house. I gave a shriek. I did not know that that was coming. I just did not know. Um, so I was in the moment, and it was great to see Mo looking at those pictures until that grabbed her. And of course, Grace and Morgan rush over, and first Grace is on the scene, and then Morgan. And of course, Morgan asks Mo, "Are you okay? Did you get bit?" She's like, "No, no, no, I'm good." And of course, they smell the skunk smell, and they kind of laugh a little. But then, you see Grace in the background, and she's like, "Oh, Morgan." And she shows them the bite that she's been bitten. So it's like, damn, can't catch a break, man. Can't catch a break. So where are they off to? They're off to the Padre boat, where they meet up with Dwight and Sherry and Finch, and they get on that boat to hopefully we'll see where they can get. But what they're hoping is to save Grace by getting to June. And hopefully, because they know it's worked with Finch, the radiation has worked with Finch, so they're hoping that it will work for Grace. So I don't know. Let's hope that it does. Okay. So I do want to mention again my favorite moments. My favorite moments are the mention of Rick Grimes, revisiting this house from The Walking Dead, the very first episode. I love how they recreated this to look exactly the same. I thought that was so amazing. And of course, revisiting Jenny and Dwayne. I just love that those actors could come back and portray those roles. I thought that that was pretty cool. So I just love it. I love the whole throwback to The Walking Dead and just being this whole universe. So I would love to know your thoughts on any of that. What are your predictions? What's going to happen? We see in the trailer that they are trying to get to that train car. And because it's a train, it's on wheels, Shrike moves it around. So they're having trouble finding that. But what I found interesting in the trailer that I saw was Morgan yelling, "Don't you try and stop me." I love it when Morgan yells what he wants. I'm right there with you, Morgan. Um, so I don't know. Let's hope that they can get to June one way or another. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. The series finale is supposed to be over the mid-season finale is supposed to be over 2 hours long. That's long. So what's going to happen? Will this be the end of Padre? Will they have a battle? Will something happen? Is this going to continue on to the second half? I don't know. There's so much to tune into. So I would love to know your thoughts on this episode of Fear the Walking Dead, King County, and your predictions for the next couple of episodes. I hope you've enjoyed this segment with me. I'm so glad that you are here. I appreciate you. Again, would love to know your thoughts. And I want to thank you for joining me. I cannot wait for Sunday. And I just hope you have a fantastic week. And remember to follow and subscribe to Screens in Focus podcast. And I'll see you next time. Bye.